was a time when I didn't think I was going to make it. And I found a way to pull through. And maybe this video, maybe these words, maybe even some art may help pull you through. Hi, if you're struggling with thoughts of wishing to die or kill yourself, please watch all of this video. This is a pretty serious video that I'm making. I normally make pretty goofy videos, but I recently had a conversation with a loved one and it really wanted me to make this video, especially because I was trying to find one to send and I couldn't find any, so I'm gonna make one. Suicidal thoughts can feel like a never-ending pit of hopelessness, feeling defeated, trapped, stuck, and having no purpose or meaning in life. Maybe you feel like a burden to others or to the world. Maybe you even feel unbearable pain, emotional or physical. You've realized that you've had increased anger, agitation, poor frustration tolerance, increased anxiety, and maybe even some reckless behavior. The comforting truth is, we're all just a little bit fucked up. Nobody has it all figured out. I mean, we all know people who seem to skate through life with nothing bothering them. They don't make waves. But life is beautifully messed up because we are humans. We need to quit waiting to be successful, waiting to be healed, healthy, happy, balanced, attractive, disciplined, or secure. Whatever shame tells you you should be before you start loving and accepting your imperfect self. Most people don't realize this, but pleasure and pain come in a package deal. The same kind of vulnerabilities that expose us to pain are the same kind of mechanisms that open us up to joy. When we close ourselves off to everything, good and bad alike. We have mental constructs of scenes that we are familiar with. We don't grow beyond that. We use it as a crutch. So use the idea that pain is an opportunity for self-compassion, self-discovery, and practice, not a sign that you're failing at this happiness thing. Also, we need to accept that love cannot coexist without grief. Humans attach to other humans for survival. If we don't, we feel disconnected and depressed. We weren't meant to walk this life alone, and we all need to realize that we need to ask for help to others. We need to connect with others. And so we experience pain when people die and when relationships end, romantic or platonic. Your thoughts are not your truths because our thoughts can be so powerful in influencing how we feel. It's important to be able to recognize them without firmly attaching to those opinions. The presence of any one or more destructive emotions in the human mind, through the chemistry of the mind, sets up a poison that may destroy one's sense of justice and fairness. Your inner critic may seem like it has valid points, but it's almost always filtering experience through a lens of shame and perfectionism. Get to know where your shame lies. Shame tells us that we're unlovable in our imperfection, and that it's wise to hide our flaws. If we can't do this successfully, shame then tells us that we have to isolate ourselves to prevent rejection from even happening in the first place. Yet the truth is actually the opposite. By bringing light and compassion to our mistakes and imperfections, it essentially heals that shame. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is fear walking. There will be a day. Maybe it won't be today, and maybe it won't be tomorrow or the next day or years to come. One day, we realize self-criticism has gone from being protective and motivating to destructive and paralyzing, and that the longest relationship that you will ever have is with yourself. Self-compassion is about being a really good parent to ourselves. Especially if you grew up in a childhood where parents weren't there for you. Now is the time for you to be there for yourself. It means having those not really expectations, but more so values in growth and your integrity, while also giving ourselves permission to be imperfect. By changing that critical inner voice to a compassionate one, You can experience connection and change, and be at peace while also being alone with yourself. Now let's talk about death. Death teaches us to savor life. Death holds many fears. However, death is the great denier, the great untruth. It is what is most unspoken about, but yet most thought about. Okay, so this next part is just research, okay? You can take this for what it is, keep it in, or just leave it back on the shelf, okay? I'm just putting this in here. Some sleep regression therapists have done research, and they have argued that suicide can generate a certain energy that they take with them in the afterlife, which thus affects their whole being, which means basically it's considered a waste. Some could argue that it's never an appropriate time to cast off a living body before its time. Take that with what you will, okay? But none of us is exempt of death. And we get closer to it every day. Life is so much richer when we recognize that our mobility, cognition, health, relationships, youth, and experiences are fleeting. That there are no guarantees that we or those that we love will be here tomorrow. It will get better, and you will be better because of it. Disclaimer, if you have any intent or plan to end your life, please contact the crisis hotline and dial 988. Normally, I do really fun, goofy videos, but I felt like this was needed this week because of certain circumstances. So I love you guys. Never feel like a burden to others, and you got this.